What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So if you watch this video to the end, you're going to see the exact setup that I did the morning of going into the trade to make $2,300. So watch the setup. I'll show you exactly what I did to chart all the different charts. And then also I'll also show you at the end of it, the trade that led up to $2,300 following the same exact setup. As always, like and subscribe and enjoy this video. What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Time right now is 5:56 a.m. Pacific time. I like to do this about 30 to 45 minutes before the market opens. You can honestly do it in 15 to 20, depending on how you get comfortable. So we're going to set our levels for the market. I'm going to start using TradingView first because I usually do options as well. So right now I'm looking at NQ. What we're going to do from that point on is we're going to switch over to the daily chart. From the daily chart, I usually mark my yesterday's highs and lows. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to try to go fast. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or anything else, just feel free to pause. All right. I like copying and pasting on TradingView because it's just a little bit faster. Copy and paste. And then all I'm doing right now is just labeling everything. So yesterday's high. And then we have our yesterday's low of day. And then same thing, 2-day high, 2-day low, so 2-day low. All right. And if you guys are making this into a template, basically if you're making this into a template, I'll show you how to make that real quick because that's a new thing too that you're not familiar with if you're not doing it often. So if I go to the weekly, which I do chart to, I also scroll in and just see how last week's was compared to this week. So here's last week's. We're going to go and mark that. If you're creating a new template, once again, you're to select, right click, hit draw a line. You're going to right click it. And then you're going to go and save as, and you can type in whatever name. So I like my last week as LWL. And then I like this current week, which you can kind of see here. You can scroll in. It's right there. And this is going to be LWH for last week's high. So now if we go down to a 30-minute, you can kind of see, you can kind of see how everything kind of correlates with each other, right? From last week, all right, this is last week's. We touched last week's low. We pushed up to yesterday's low day, back down, and so on. So you can now see how the market is going to form itself, all right? So I would do the same exact thing for NQ, ES, SPY, and also QQQ because I do options also. If you are also going to be, let's just say, trading NQ, the only thing I'm doing from this point on is I'll scroll in and I will then do my liquidity area. So my liquidity will look like this. Same thing, you can do the same exact template style for boxes too. So there we go. And then I'll switch over to my 4-hour time frame, which is there. The range right now for NQ is actually pretty small. So I may not trade it as a market today, but we'll see. All right. And then here's my 4-hour level that I usually mark to. All right. And that's it. Okay. Then if I go back down to a 5-minute, you can kind of see how it all kind of works in regards to how it works itself out. We can potentially get back up here and start dumping back down, depending on what the other markets are doing. Okay, so my NQ market is pretty much done, right? And this is all I'm doing from a grand scale. We gapped up on yesterday, and we are now going to be consolidating between this daily range and also this 4-hour range. So let's go do the same thing with ES. So with the ES, same exact thing, right? We're going to do our daily first. There is, and once again, I copy and paste. This copy paste feature, for whatever reason, works really well with TradingView, but from other platforms, for whatever reason, it doesn't copy and paste and it doesn't sync into your other charts. So all I'm doing from that point on is, once again, marking my highs and lows. 2-day high, 2-day low. All right, and then I'm going down to my daily liquidity, which is there. If there is nothing down here, I just do a line just so that way you know it, that is there. And then I'll go back down to a 4-hour, same exact thing. There's a 4-hour level. There's a 4-hour level. All right. And same exact thing. If we go down to a 5-minute or 30-minute, you can kind of see how it all kind of correlates itself. Right. I think we're going to come down. That's just me personally. We may also push through it and then go lower. That's just me personally. We'll see how the market opens. All right. So now let's move into options. And yes, before you ask, this is a little bit of work, but once again, if you're making $300,000, $500,000, $4,000, $10,000, it's worth it. So same exact thing. We'll go to options. Now options are a little bit differently. So I still mark the highs and lows. So here's my high. Here's my low. Here's my 2-day high. And here's my 2-day low. Same exact thing. Using the templates. Templates make everything a lot faster. So you don't have to keep typing it out. 2-day high, 2-day low. Now, what's different about QQ and SPY, right? Instead of using the daily to market because it's not pulling in data, I usually just use the 8-hour right now because that gives you the most recent data. So there's the 8-hour right there. We're going to treat that as if it's our daily liquidity. You can see there's nothing at the bottom still, which is fine. And then we're going to switch back up to the 4-hour. Do the same exact thing. Okay. And why I like having this label on here as 4-hour level is just as a reminder, because sometimes when you're in a trade, your eyes are focused on a bunch of different things. All right, so there we go. All right, so same exact thing. Here's our options. If you're taking options as an example and you feel like we're going to go down, you can take a $59.99 sell or a put, and you're already in the money on the way down. If it continues down, you can do that, or you can take profit up here, either or. I am going to be looking, just as me personally, just because of how overly extended we are, I'm going to be looking for shorts today. That's just me personally. All right. And then let's do our last thing on QQQ. Same exact thing. All right. By now you should get it. So same exact thing. We are doing what first? The high, the low. Okay. The 2-day low. And the 2-day high. We're going to then label it. You can do this for whatever market you want to do. You don't have to just focus on QQQ or NQ. You can do this for Tesla. You can do this for Meta. You can do this for any stock out there too, as well, if you're trading options. I just like to trade the same exact thing that I'm trading for futures, just because it's a little bit easier. I don't have to take my eyes off of on a different chart. All right, so same exact thing. Here we go. Here's up top. Boom. Daily liquidities right there. And then we're going to then go to our 4-hour. You can see this one looks very consistent, and they're going to look alike, believe it or not, sometimes. NQ and also QQQ. And sometimes they look very different just because of the data that wasn't collected over the whole day. But I like doing this as a whole because sometimes you may not even do futures. You may just do options if the opportunity presents itself. All right. And so now we have our options. Okay. So same exact thing. If you're taking shorts and you can risk it, you can find something in the middle here if we're going to go down, and you can use this as your sell price point. If you monitor it and see that, okay, we're continuing down, or we break this 4-hour level, you can continue it down to the next liquidity, which is the 2-day high. Okay. That's pretty much it. I'm going to bounce over to Topstep. For those of us that like to trade Topstep, it's the same exact situation. All right, so let's go here. Let's delete certain things. Let's delete this line right here. I think Topstep actually did mine because I usually do it on Sundays. Yep, so Topstep's already done, as you can see, but I'll show it to you. Okay, so there we go. We have our yesterday's high of day, 2-day high of day. This is our current. What I'm going to do, though, is we're going to mark our liquidity right there. If you don't see a wick on the bottom, like I said, you can just do a line, or you can just keep zooming in until you see something very small, which you can kind of see right there. All right. And so I'll do something like this. There we go. And then we'll go down to a 4-hour level. 4 hour seems like it's pretty much the same. So I'm still going to draw one down here. 4 hour. There we go. And then we'll scroll. Actually, that's the wrong one. And this is actually really good to see. So let's go ahead and delete that. We're going to zoom back. There we go. This is our most recent 4 hour. 4 hour. And then we have a 4 hour to the bottom right here too. All right, looking at NQ right now, even with this 4 hour, we have about 70 points potentially, which isn't a huge amount, but it's still worth it if you're going to trade it. Once again, if you're trading NQ, and if we go the right direction, that's anywhere between $15 to $2,000. If you're trading the minis with a 1, that's anywhere between $140 to $200, depending on how you do it. Okay. If we go back down to the 5-minute, you can kind of see this is what the 5-minute looks like. Closer to about 6:30 or so is probably when I'm gonna start looking at taking a short to the low. That's just me personally. All right, so that's the minis, and then I'm gonna also do the big boy QQQ or NQ. Sorry about that. Just so that way I can, just in case I feel froggy, want to trade this one instead of MNQ. All right, and if you have any questions on what the differences are, it's the same exact chart. It's just weighted a little bit differently. So those of you that want to risk less, I highly recommend using MNQ. You can still make a lot of money with it. But also too, as well, if you're a beginner at this, you can just trade that and be perfectly fine. All right, so there we go. We have our 2-day lows, 2-day highs. We're gonna do the same thing up here too. So for whatever reason too, that copy and paste method does not work really well on Topstep. Meaning if you're using 4 charts like I do, it's not gonna sync into the other 3 charts. So you have to kind of manually do this. I will message them and ask them about that too, but that is something that for whatever reason I have noticed. And it is very inconvenient when you're trying to speed through it, or if you happen to wake up late in the day. There we go. Boom. All right, we have that. Let's mark this one up here too. All right, and if we go down to the 5-minute, you're gonna see how this looks. All right, crazy enough, I wouldn't mind taking a short here, but we're gonna see. I think it's Monday, so I'm gonna be a lot slower too as well. If we can get a push back up, let's just see right now. If we can get a push back up potentially to right about this 50% area, I'll look at potentially taking shorts. But as of right now, I mean, if you were to take this on NQ, you're risking almost $400, $500. And so ideally, if we can get it closer up, then we'll look at potentially taking a short. And then those of us that trade ES, here we go. Let's do the same exact thing. And all I'm doing, as you can see, is the same exact thing that I did on TradingView, right? Some of you guys trade TraderVate, some of you guys trade TradeStation, some of you guys trade on TradingView. So I like to kind of show multiple things. I use TradingView sometimes as my second chart because I can look at the options at the same exact time. So it's just more so whatever works for you. There we go, 2-day low. Here we go, right there for yesterday's low. And then lastly, we have so these are all synced. Once again, if you want to go to the weekly on ES, same exact thing. You can just drag it to where you need it to go. You can drag it to where you need it to go, and you have it right there on the chart. And then same exact thing, we're going to do the daily. All right. Trading, what I have found out is just very repetitive. If you can do the same repetitive, sometimes it feels boring things, the more profitable you can be. And so what I'm trying to do during this stage of still learning, I haven't arrived yet. I'm not making $1 million, but I am documenting my journey. And if you can do the same boring things every single day, you'll be more profitable when it comes to trading. But you'll also too as well have habits that you can do anytime without missing a beat. There have been times where I've traded, and because I didn't do something the same exact way, it caused me not to read the market the right way. right? And so right now you can see we have a push up happening. So everything is done. I'm pretty much ready to go in regards to trading. And so if I was to hypothetically switch over to NQ, right, you can see NQ is there. I would switch over to my forward charts, which I love using because I can try to use 1 minute candles and stuff like that. And this is pretty much what it looks like for me. I'm going to be targeting potentially back down here as long as we don't break above. So this is what it looks like. All right, I'm going to be targeting hopefully down here at some point. And if we get that move, right, that's a good, 30, 40, 50 points potentially to the downside. With my 150K account, I'm probably going to risk only a 1. So just let the trade build out. So that way I'm not chasing it. And then with everything else, I may go smaller. So the reason why I chart NQ and also MNQ is because depending on the day, you may say, I don't like it. I want to risk less. And so you don't want to trade NQ. You may want to do MNQ instead, right? Or you also may want to do options instead too as well. Okay. What I'm going to do right now, just because we are at a place that I like, is we're going to take once this 5-minute closes right here, I'm going to take a short and just see how that plays out for me real quick.